boy. It's too hard at the ice out the neck. It's too hard at the ice out the neck. When I'm in my zone, bitch, I get my respect. Call me bumping just.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Texas Sports World. That is Isaac. I'm Ethan, and we're going to discuss a little bit of college football on this fine Thursday afternoon, evening time, and we're recording this before we get started. How are you doing? You have a good little Thursday?
I'm doing good. How are you, my brother?
I could be better, but we're out here. We're recording a little podcast, so you know what?
So it could never be better.
It could never be worse. It could never be better. Yeah, you're right. It could never be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wetter. It could never be wetter.
It could.
There's a potential chance of. Let's move on. Can we
anyway,
get this started, please? Yeah.
Goodness.
We're moving into the week 9 slate of college football this week, which is crazy to me because it feels like just yesterday everything was just getting. It feels like we're just getting the season started still. Like teams are finally getting their identity and like things are finally getting rolling for everybody. But lo and behold, the season's pretty much almost over halfway over.
That is crazy you mentioned that because it's so funny you say that because I was thinking, I don't know if it was like a couple of days ago, maybe. I was like, man, it feels like the season is still so, like everything is still so new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like there's, like obviously you have Ohio State, but like I don't think anybody's really
solidified themselves.
I don't think anybody's quote unquote scared of Ohio State. Like in years past, there was a team that was at number 1. You're like, I don't even want to be in the same zip code as them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not literally, but to be
that's
dramatic.
Not a game you want to go play.
Right. But Ohio State, I feel like no team sees them and is like, ugh. So like they haven't really solidified themselves, like you said, as the team. But you would think it's not. What are we? Almost 9 weeks in, or something like that. Going into week 9, that it would be, there'd be a little bit more obvious. But I think that's a credit to the parity of college football and like the state that we're in. You know that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that also. It's like there's still so many teams that could push and like make a run or even win it at now. Like you said, there's no solid number 1 team, right? Like Ohio State, obviously, but like I feel like the gap between Ohio State and the top 5 teams behind them, it's not like Oklahoma's clearly better. I think it's just like
right.
I want to say victim of circumstance, but like just the way the cards has fallen, they are rightfully the number 1 team. But
right, you can't take it away from them.
Still beatable for sure by
definitely, yeah.
Pretty much anybody in the top 10.
I mean, you could argue Ole Miss, could be up there with Ohio State. Like an Ole Miss Ohio State game, I think would be a good game to watch.
Yeah, and there's just so many teams that are in like the top 12 right now. Like if the season ended today and the top 12 were in the playoffs, like I could handpick a few of those teams that I could like they could win it.
Yeah.
So
it is definitely the hype the college football has lived up to the hype in the sense that there's nothing like it, and we've seen that. And we see that 9 weeks in where we're still like, this could go any way. This could go any direction. And with that in mind, I think we should kind of break down the games coming up this weekend. What do you think?
I am with you. I'm already there. I'm already there with you. I had to pull them up because I wanted to see how crazy my last take was. BYU enters the top 12 of the AP poll. Interesting. Ohio State, obviously. A&M's up there. I saw somebody today say A&M's underrated.
A&M's underrated as the number 3 team in the country?
That's what I thought. That was my first thought. Is how are they?
I would say like hold on. Am I tripping?
What do you mean?
Oh, they did. Oh yeah, they did. I forgot that Georgia game. I didn't forget. I did forget, but I was looking at Ole Miss because I thought Ole Miss was undefeated, but I totally forgot that they had that barn burner with Georgia last week.
Do you know what's crazier? Notre Dame's in the top 12. So
that is crazy.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that.
No.
Go ahead and turn the camera back on, please.
Oh, is it off? What the heck?
Yeah, you're blurry. You're blurry. All right. So this week's slate, we got. I'm gonna call this a underdog. And I want your prediction on this.
Okay.
I want USF versus Memphis. Now, Memphis is a good team. Don't get it twisted.
No,
USF is 18, and I know they're a headache because we had to play them for 2 years in a row, and they almost beat us twice. Thankfully, they did.
Dude, why is so the ESPN on the computer sucks, by the way. So because I'm trying to look at all the games in the top 25, but I don't think it gives me an option. It just gives me every single college football game
Ever
out there, ever, like in the whole entire thing. Okay, so what did you said? Memphis and who?
South Florida, USF, and Memphis.
Ooh, I kind of like that game.
I kind of like that game too.
That's going to be a good game to watch because that's the team. What the heck? There it is. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Memphis is good. South Florida has shown themselves to be a viable threat in this version of college football. Alex Golish, their head coach, he's getting a lot of his names popping up in head coaching vacancies. So that's always a good thing. But they have their quarterback, I think his name Byram Brown or something like that.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's
legit,
insane, dude. He's
he's legit.
Yeah, he's
really he's very much like. This is gonna sound okay. This might be crazy, and it's not like I'm not. This isn't a take, but like I could see a little bit of Cam Newton in him and his like physicalness, not in like his ability to run necessarily, because he does have that ability, but he's not. I'm not saying he is Cam Newton, but like he just like sheds tackles and just like guys bounce off him like Cam Newton did,
Mm-hmm.
Not that he is Cam Newton. That's crazy. I'm not saying he's doing that.
I got South Florida winning that game, but I do think it'll be a good game. I didn't want to get too deep into it. I just wanted to say, watch out for that game. I think it'll be a really good game, but I got South Florida pulling off the win.
And over under. Okay, what's up? Oh no, go ahead. I was going to say that. Go.
You go. I'm done. I'm done until you go.
I was saying, I was going to give the line for that game because I'm thinking maybe if you're interested in this episode, we could do a little prize pick Thursday, or maybe do a little prize pick show tomorrow or something. If you're interested in that,
this would be Friday.
Yeah. So this is going to be out tomorrow. So this will be out Friday. We recorded this on Thursday. So you want to do a little prize pick action?
No, I don't. No,
you don't?
Not even a little bit. Tell the line though. I want to see the line. I'll tell you what games I'll bet on.
UCF -6.5, and the over under is 58.5. Over under seems like kinda perfect high to me. I don't know. I thought my first thought was like 27-24 or something like that.
I don't know. Let me get your opinion
on
this.
I guess 58 does seem kind of high actually. Yeah.
It does seem kind of high. I want to go to Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
This isn't even look, guys. Listen, guys.
We got something here.
We are entering the part of the Oklahoma schedule that I told everybody was coming. None of what Oklahoma did in the first half of the season moved me at all. And that was evident when they played my bad Texas team. Yeah, they're bad. I admit it. They're not great. It's hard. It's a hard watch. I'm watching a lot of bad football. Okay. But you can blame it on John Mateer. He played. Can't blame it on that. If he's not good, don't play him. He did. They lost. Then they go out and they win last weekend, but John Mateer follows up with a really bad game. And you expect me to think that they're going to go into this gauntlet for the last five games of the season or whatever it is and just continue to win? Sorry. Not buying that.
Yeah, Trinidad Chambliss is going crazy.
For sure.
Here's the thing. Here's my problem with this game. I feel like these teams are, I don't know let me try to find the words to explain this. It's the same if they were reversed. Now, hear me out. Ole Miss is a very high-powered offensive team with Lane Kiffin. Very good at scoring the football. Oklahoma kind of struggles offensively, but they're known to have a pretty solid defense. So you get a good offense going against a bad defense. And I say they're the same because they find themselves in similar scenarios, right? Always comp to be really high, like really good teams. And then kind of during the stretch of the season, they lose a few games. And then now, towards the end of the season, they're either on the bubble or they're completely out of the playoffs. And I think Ole Miss has a good case to make it this year over Oklahoma, because I do think Oklahoma's schedule is very tough. However, I have Oklahoma winning this game.
Well, I mean, and like you said, make a good point on the defenses. Oklahoma obviously comes in as the number 1 ranked defense in the country right now, just ahead of Ohio State, not even by that much. And then Ole Miss is way. No way. I had to have missed them. I have to have missed them. There's no way they're lower than that. I was trying to find it before you started talking to me, but
I'll keep going. I'll keep going.
Keep going until I find it.
Kiffin. I really do. I like Lane Kiffin a lot. I think he's a really good head coach. However, now the reason I have Oklahoma winning this game is
holy crap.
I have a tinfoil hat kind of conspiracy theory going into this game that I don't know how focused Lane Kiffin is with the Florida job opening, and everybody in their mama in Gainesville, Florida is saying that, Lane Kiffin's going to be the next head coach, which makes me assume probably he's gotten called about the job.
Sure,
yeah. And we don't know if he's interviewed yet. We don't know if he's we don't know if he's accepted the job and he's waiting for the season to be over. We don't know what that is. We don't know how focused Lane Kiffin is on this Oklahoma game. Now, is that why they lose? Or I don't think so. I think after the Georgia game, which albeit was a pretty close game, I think that whenever you have to outscore your opponent, right? Like Ole Miss is good offensively, but they have to always score. And they tend to let games linger because their defense is
66th.
Right. So not strong defensively, which as good as your offense is, like the opposing offense doesn't have to be that good to score on you.
That is true. That does add another layer to the game for sure, because in total defense, Oklahoma's number 1, Ole Miss is number 66. And then if you want to go to let me go to how would you what is there just a total would you say scoring offense would kind of be all encompassing in terms of how good an offense is?
I mean, for the sake of this argument, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then you got, let's see, Ole Miss is 16th in total offense. And Oklahoma is not near the top unless I missed them again.
Well, I don't think their last 2 performances would have kept them near the top. But I will say, knowing what John Mateer is, or what he was before the significant throwing hand injury, right, which obviously is still affecting him.
69th on offense, Oklahoma is.
So my take remains the same. They're the same if they just were reversed, pretty much.
So yeah, but so okay, so that's kind of exactly, but I think that's kind of indicative of how the game's going to go. I think they're reversed in a lot of ways, but in the area where they're reversed at, Ole Miss is better than Oklahoma in that in the reverse. Ole Miss is better. I think that's what's going to show. So it may end up being a closer game. Like it may end up being like 35-28 or something like that. I don't even. Okay, let's call it 21. Let's call it 24-21.
I'm thinking like 21 max for either team.
Oh, you don't think Ole Miss is gonna be able to move the ball? I think Oklahoma is not as good on defense as I think this stat is inflated. I don't think Oklahoma is as good on defense as everybody thinks they are.
Or only saying that because
I'm not. I'm not. Look, Isaac. I'm
not gonna buy it. I don't even want to hear why you think that. I'm not I don't believe you. And I
Why?
don't
Why don't you believe me?
because
They
outside
played
of
Illinois,
Texas,
Illinois
outside of
State,
Texas-
Temple, and Kent State were 3 of their teams they played already. Like, yeah,
outs-
they're gonna have,
outside
which
of
is why I
Texas,
don't, which is why I
every
don't think,
other team has struggled against them defensively. So
which is
just
why I
because
don't.
Texas has their number does not make them a shittier defense. Just because, and to be fair, and let's give him credit where credit is due. He was hurt during the game. Regardless, not an excuse, but that can't be a non-factor, right? It can't be a non-factor for John Mateer to be injured during the game. Regardless,
I didn't say it wasn't a non-factor. That's not what I said. But that has nothing to do with their defense. I'm saying that's why
it's complimentary
hold
football.
on. Let me finish.
It goes direct.
No. Listen, I'm saying you're not letting me finish because if you let me finish, which is why I don't think Texas is as good as I don't think Texas is that good because of course our defensive stats are inflated a little bit. Look at who our 3 or 4 games we're against. Obviously, the stats are going to be a little inflated.
You're still blurry.
If I know I'm fixing it. If the team we're facing isn't that good, obviously, right? Which goes to show that just because somebody has good numbers based upon the record that the teams that they faced, I'm not sure that I can buy that those numbers are indicative of how good or bad that team is. Because when they played the good teams, they didn't play very well, and you could say that they had an Auburn team. Auburn sucks. They're a victim of the early preseason rankings where they have shitty teams ranked way too high, just like Alabama Alabama got lucky that Florida State, lucky and unlucky, because Florida State now sucks, right? They're unranked now. Now they beat Alabama, but at the same time, Alabama keeps going on and winning. So like it doesn't even. I forgot my train of thought. You can't.
I disagree with you because it's first off very contradictory coming from you. That's my first thing.
But did I not?
Last year, if I would have reversed this, there's a lot of reversing going on in this show. But if I would have reversed this scenario on you and said, y'all are just a victim of your schedule and who you play, and y'all don't actually have a top offense, y'all just haven't played anybody. You would have said, you're an idiot, shut up, right? We can't
defending my team.
We can't help who Oklahoma has played to this point and who they have played outside of one injured Texas game that they lost, okay, which I would argue would have defensively that game would have been a lot better had they been able to sustain drives. Yes or no?
Yes.
Your camera's blurry again.
There, I fixed it.
So, with that being said, if John Mateer can get back right, just get back average and sustain drives, that's going to make regardless. You can say they're not number 1. Okay, I'll give it to you. But they're a top 15 defense, top 10 defense. You can't take that away. And if you can get a sustained drive with a top 10 defense, guess what? You got a concoction for success.
They're a top 10 defense. They against everybody good. So do you see? Yeah, there's a lot of switching because now you're taking the side that I took last year.
I'm just saying. I think defense is one of those stats that it's harder to be inflated. Like offensive stats are easier to inflate than defensive stats. I think that's like pretty common knowledge. And I just see Oklahoma's defense, and I'm going to give Oklahoma credit. I just see them getting more stops on Ole Miss than they can score. And I think John Mateer, this game isn't even a defensive versus offensive scheme like prediction. I think this is John Mateer's get right game against a good team. And I think the defense is good enough to help John Mateer out and help Oklahoma win this game.
I remember my train of thought from earlier, and I was saying how it's actually it ended up being kind of good for Bama at the same time because Florida State. Damn it, I lost it again. I had it and I lost it. I keep losing it. It's fine. Moving on.
Moving on. Next game we can talk about is I'm gonna keep it. Actually, no, I'm not. I want to talk about Alabama, South Carolina, but that's not the last game. But I do want to talk about it real quick. Alabama coming in there, the number 4 ranked team. Okay, the highest ranked 1-loss team, by the way. And let's move back on this. I think Alabama's playing what I like to call, and I think I said this last show, vintage Alabama football. This looks like a Nick Saban coach team, in my personal opinion. From what I've seen throughout history of my time of being an Alabama fan, this looks way more reminiscent. I'd even argue this looks more prime Alabama than some of Saban's recently coached teams, which is crazy to say. But his last team against with Jalen Milroe, I think this team is better than that. And I think Ty Simpson is obviously the Heisman front runner, should be the favorite, should be the Heisman. Let's cancel the rest of the games. Let's just give Ty Simpson the Heisman right now. I think he's the best quarterback in college football. I think, and I don't really think it's close, if I'm being honest with you. I think Alabama's secondary has proved, their receiving group has proven to be the best in college football. And I think they are a decent run game away from being the number 1 team in college football. And a decent run defense.
I don't know how long that was going to go for.
Okay, well, tell me why.
No, I'm kidding. Honestly, I just wanted to use those buttons in a video. Honestly, I think, it's hard for me because I was not that high on Ty coming into the year. Just because I didn't know. I don't see him. I don't see him every day like you see him. So I could yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see he's played well. I don't have any outside of one game. I think he's led the nation in completion percentage. He's throwing darts, overcoming bad drops from Ryan Williams, overcoming some defensive struggles in the run game, things like that, and constantly winning games. So, yeah,
Alabama is the first SEC team to win. They're the first SEC team to win 4 ranked opponents in consecutive weeks. Not only ranked, but top 15 at the time that we played them. So, I think Alabama also has the best resume in the nation. I don't think anybody's resume even comes close. And a lot of people like to say, I called you about this earlier, that there's a lot of SEC bias and that a lot of these SEC teams shouldn't be ranked. And we're not here to get into a Big Ten versus SEC discussion. I think it's common knowledge if you watch football to know that the gauntlet of the Big Ten, if you want to call it that, is not as hard as the gauntlet of the SEC regardless.
You're talking about, hold on. In the SEC, you have 1, 2.
I think it's 10. 10 ranked.
Oh, no, hold on. I know, but I'm saying 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Big Ten. Now let's go to Big Ten. Where is it at? In the SEC, you have 3 ranked matchups. That's pretty much a weekly thing. There's pretty much 3 or 4 weekly ranked matchups, right? In the Big Ten, you have none.
None.
You have no ranked matchups.
Yeah.
You have games like Rutgers and Purdue.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Big Ten hater. I think I would argue the top teams of the Big Ten would probably be the top teams of the SEC. Do I also think that has a little bit to do with like health coming into the game from the season that they play? Yeah, a little bit. I think the easier schedule obviously isn't going to, you're not going to run through the physical gauntlet. So whenever you play a top SEC team like Ohio State, Alabama or Georgia or anybody in the top at A&M, obviously you're going to be a little bit healthier coming into that game. But I will give the nod to the upper echelon of the Big Ten teams. But if we're going conference for conference depth wise, I don't think it's close.
For instance, the Big Ten ranked matchup is Purdue and what was the other team I said? Hold on.
Stanford?
No. Hold on. Not Stanford. No. Like their lowest rated, I would argue, like lowest rated teams going at it this weekend is Rutgers and Purdue. And I would say that the SEC's lowest teams going at it is Auburn and Arkansas. Auburn and Arkansas versus Purdue and whatever the other team I said is the two games are totally different. I'm going to watch Auburn and Arkansas over that other game every time.
Yeah.
And any rational football fan is going to watch the Auburn Arkansas game over that other game every time. I think that's also a good indicator of like what games are like, or like what conferences.
Whenever I say this, like this video is going to be SEC games heavy, but that's only because there's so many ranked matchups played within the SEC. So there's not much like,
right.
You know, you don't really want to talk about Oregon, Wisconsin. You know how that game's going to play out. Michigan versus Michigan State, like good game, good rivalry. That's about it. Like, you know how that game's going to go. The next game I want to get into is Mississippi versus Vanderbilt, which I think is I personally think is game of the week. I don't know.
Missouri.
What did I say?
Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, Missouri versus Vanderbilt. I think that's going to be game of the week. I don't know if game day is going there or not. But that's my game of the week.
No, not LSU. Not a LSU A&M.
That might be, but I'm gonna nod the cap to the ranking system, which I know is flawed. But these are the two higher ranked teams of the two, and I can single-handedly say I know for a fact these two teams are good football teams because I've seen them play. I don't watch a ton of Vanderbilt and Mizzou outside of whenever I play them or whenever Alabama plays them. I will say this: Diego Pavia versus Bo Pribula.
That's a matchup right there. Bo Pribula came out of freaking nowhere.
And Bo Pribula's like underrated in his like running ability. Yeah, I think he's just underrated as a quarterback in general. And then Ahmad Hardy from Mizzou, I think, is a dog.
I think he's the nation's leading rusher, actually.
Yeah, I think he's still the best running back in the SEC. And then, obviously, Vanderbilt, they're just like Diego Pavia, I hate, but I will give him credit that he elevates Vanderbilt to a level that I don't think that they should be at. But he's like a real guy's guy. Like, he's an alpha, guy's guy. He's going to get the most out of all the guys around him. He's like a ball of energy for that Vanderbilt team. I think it's a really good matchup, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm definitely looking at this. The slate this weekend's not that bad. I'm here for it. Ole Miss, Oklahoma at 11 a.m. Wake up, get a little hair of the dog. Wake up at 11 a.m. Crack a beer. Watch a little Ole Miss OU. You know, switch it back between Auburn, Arkansas whenever you're bored and at commercial breaks, and then you got Alabama, South Carolina at 2:30. At this point, you got a little buzz going. You're feeling good. You're like, oh yeah, here we go. We're gonna watch some smash mouth, choke your mama SEC football, and then after that, what you got? You got a top 20 matchup: Missouri versus Vanderbilt. You got Diego Pavia, Bo Pribula out there running around, throwing the rock, playing just like they shouldn't be there. They don't even think they shouldn't even be that good. But what are they doing at 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday? They're putting points on the board, baby. That's going to be an SEC matchup in midday like we ain't seen. And then you got next, 3:15. You got Texas, Mississippi State. Now, I'm a homer. I'm a little worried.
Okay, now I love the monologue there. I really did. It was getting me fired up. And then you just had to slid that one in there when it didn't need to be slid in. You slid it in where it didn't need to go. We can talk about it, though. Mississippi State is a very underrated football team. This is not last year's Mississippi State that was the worst in the SEC. This is a much improved Mississippi State team, regardless of
It is. Blake Shapen. Blake Shapen's a dude.
Yes, and regardless of the record, I think they're a very tough team. And I would say this is a definition of a trap game. I don't think really a trap game, but you got to hope with the woes of Texas football this year, the Texas Blues, as you could call them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game that you could see going Mississippi State's way.
You could absolutely, yeah, no, absolutely. You could see Mississippi State gutting out an ugly 13-10 win. I could see it
because the horse has been beat to death, so we're not going to keep doing it. Obviously, Arch has not played great. Obviously, the offense is struggling. The defense started so strong and kind of had their they had their little hiccups, and so now you're at a point in Texas's schedule where it's realistically they have to win out to have a shot. The other thing is I don't think winning out might not be enough for Texas because you'd have to have other teams lose, right?
Not really, because the you got to look at the schedule. You're talking 3 of our last 5 games are top 10 matchups.
Well, okay,
half of our remaining schedule is our top 10 teams. So beating those teams would be them.
See, but you got to go against right now the top 5, but they still have their own gauntlets to run.
Right, but let's say Vanderbilt wins this weekend, right? Vanderbilt wins this weekend because Vanderbilt beats Missouri. Right. Let's say Vanderbilt beats Mizzou. They probably move up to 7 or 8, maybe 9, depending on what happens. Georgia, I don't see them taking a tumble for anything. They'll probably stay right around 5. Arkansas is going to Arkansas, and then A&M. Honestly, by November, I have a theory about A&M that we could get to whenever we later if we want to, but there's an argument that A&M in November is not the same team that they are in the rest of the season, and I have the numbers to back it up. But ultimately, if Texas wants a chance to make the playoff, they have to win out. They can't drop any more games because if you drop a ranked game, then you can't beat a ranked team. If you drop a ranked game, you can't beat a ranked team. If you drop versus a bad team, then all of a sudden you can't beat bad teams. So you don't have a choice. You kind of have to. I got it.
What is that?
You don't have a. I don't know why he keeps doing that. I don't know. So either way, the only option is to win because any way you lose is bad at this point. And you have. I will
say though, the committee's eyes are on you. Not the committee, but the AP people's eyes are on you. You squeaked out an ugly win versus Kentucky and you dropped. So I would argue winning out might not be enough in the sense of the games
that's not true.
To take care of, you got to take care of them.
That's not true because the guy we talk about all the time, Brooks Austin, the film guy. Go check it out. Super cool dude, badass videos. He pointed out that going into Lexington, Kentucky, and playing in that type of game at night is not that's not a new thing. Georgia's done that. Other teams have done that in the past. Squeaked out a win, gone on to win, and it wasn't a problem.
Love Brooks Austin. Terrible argument.
How was that? How?
Because when Georgia goes in there and does that, it's not the same when Georgia isn't struggling every game of the season up to that point. Texas has. You know what I mean? It's not like people are sitting there going, Georgia's a really good team. They're national championship favorites. They're a top 4 team, and then they had a struggle game against Kentucky, which is always tough. Texas is you start as number 1, you don't get better, you fall out of the top 25 completely, claw your way back in against a win versus Oklahoma, and then you look like shit against Kentucky. It's just been bad all year.
I'm saying, if we continue to win, you're not going to. If we continue, I feel like if we squeak out wins, It's not going to matter. Are you saying like if we squeak out wins?
I'm saying if you squeak out, like if you beat the Georgia, A&M, and Vanderbilt, that'll put you in. I think, and if you win out and squeak out, if you squeak out every game, sure, it'll put you in there. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you beat those 3 teams.
God damn it. I know my camera's fucking, I know.
But I think if you go against Mississippi State and you win, 13-10, I don't think you're going to move up for that. I think you probably either stay at 22 or maybe drop to 23. If it looks like the Kentucky game.
No, I definitely agree in the sense that we shouldn't. What the hell? Just stay.
But there's so many variables. That's what I'm saying. Winning out might not be enough because right now we think it's enough. But what if Vandy loses to Mizzou and now they're a late teens, team, and y'all are dropped at 23? How much more progression do y'all get for beating a 18th ranked Vandy or a 20th ranked Vandy?
I mean, I feel like it should be. I feel like if you beat a ranked team, I mean, especially a team like Vandy.
Alabama was hovering out of the top 5 the 3 out of the last 4 weeks, beating ranked teams. And they just got into the top 5. That's I think if y'all win out, if everybody stays playing the same football and winning, and you're playing against these ranked teams as ranked teams, highly ranked teams, and y'all win out, good. Do I see that happening? That is a different question.
We can get into that later. Now, can I continue? Can we skip past this because I'm tired of talking about my shitty ass team?
Yes, we can move to
next at 6:30 p.m. Now,
A&M.
Now you got LSU and
LSU go Tigers.
At this point, you're in the couch. At this point, you're in the couch. Your belly is full. Your liver is fucked. And you're tired. But you know what? You got a top 25 matchup going on your TV on ABC at 6:30. So what do? You buckle your chin strap. You lace your shoes. And you grab another beer. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Or a shot.
Hell, you grab a shot. Shit. You take a shot, and then you chase it with a beer. Yes, sir. And then after that, what do you got? You got a scrappy, a ugly, a mean, a doesn't need to be in this league. Tennessee versus Kentucky. Now, Tennessee goes out to Lexington, Kentucky. We just talked about. Could be a tough pace to play.
Timeout. Tennessee, Kentucky is the game we're talking about right now?
They're the last game, yeah, at 6:45.
We didn't talk about A&M, LSU.
I was going to go through it, and then we was going to bounce back. I was just going to go through.
We can completely skip over Tennessee and Kentucky, personally.
Yeah, okay. I was just going to finish my little thing, but I guess we're done. So,
Kentucky's not scrappy, by the way. Kentucky's bad, very bad.
I know, man. Can you just let me have some for my pride, please?
No.
Anyways, so Texas A&M going to LSU, going to Death Valley, Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge. So, what are your thoughts on this game? Good sir.
A&M by double digits. And I'm not talking 10 points.
You talking double digits with the
I'm talking 2 tubs.
2 tubs, bro?
I'll take 10 points, but I'm talking 2 tubs, 14 points or more. A&M.
So you bet. The line is at 2.5. You banging that over? You banging that, right?
To the moon. I think A&M. I think LSU. I think Brian Kelly. I think since last year, whenever Alabama embarrassed them and walked them out of their own and drug them by their dog collar out of their own stadium, I knew from that moment forward Garrett Nussmeier was the most overrated quarterback in college football today.
And we've seen that. I think we've seen that.
And Garrett Nussmeier remains to be extremely overrated. Yeah, he's not a good quarterback. Sorry, he's not great. I don't even think he's like top 5 in the SEC.
I mean, he's got a sub 140 rating. Not great.
And I'll say this also. Brian Kelly, I don't even know why he still has a job at LSU. He should have been fired like so long ago. He should have been fired last season, but y'all brought him in here for some reason. LSU is never going to be good under Brian Kelly. Sorry. A&M on the up and up. I'm high. I've been high on A&M since, ironically, the LSU game last year. We got the hush remote going. I've been high on A&M since last year. I think Marcel Reed's a dog. Yeah. I think KC Conception is a dog. I think the A&M defense full of dogs. I don't think LSU has that many dogs. I think they got some dogs, but I think they got puppies.
They got puppies.
They got Chihuahuas and Shih Tzus, and A&M's got like a German short-haired pointer at quarterback who's going to just run through. Like he's just going to run. Yeah, he's just going. He's going to go. And Marcel Reed has looked a lot better at passing the football this year. Now,
I agree.
Now, let me come
with
to
that being said,
A&M has not played really anybody of substance. That's like that good. In my I think that's pretty general knowledge.
So now that we've gone through what this SEC slate is looking like, kind of what our thoughts are on what this is and what this weekend is going to be. What is your, I guess we kind of talked about what your, what's the biggest game you're looking forward to that maybe doesn't have any national implications, but just something you're going to peek in on and check in on?
Alabama, South Carolina.
That doesn't count.
Okay. If that doesn't count, I'm going probably Houston, Arizona State.
Ooh, Houston, Arizona State. That is going to be a good one because Houston's pretty good. Arizona State. Also,
they're top ranked team. There could be a little upset. Wah wah baby.
Yeah,
there could be a little upset. Wah wah baby here. We don't know.
Wah baby. Yeah. All right. Well, did you? Is there any more college football related news? I'm not in a rush to get out of here. I'm just trying to figure out kind of what test your temperature, trying to see what you're feeling like.
No. Man, I'm sorry if anybody from South Carolina sees that I didn't talk about South Carolina that much. I do think they're a good team, and that should not be overlooked. But this has bit me in the ass a lot recently, following Alabama's woes from last year and to start this year. And there's still it's funny to me that there's still a bit of hesitation in my confidence for this team. Because as much as I want to be like, we're back and be confident and be like, guarantee it's a win, I can't do that anymore. So, with that being said, shout out to South Carolina, and it's Cocktober, if you didn't know.
Oh, my goodness. We got to wrap it up, apparently. Apparently, I got to call Rachel because she's trying to call me for safety. And I can't call her on my – I got to call her on my phone.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. She's walking in the dark.
All right, peace.
All right. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's night. We'll see y'all rest of y'all's day. Come back here. Check it out on Saturday. See y'all. Bye.